Call the meeting of the Moberly City Council to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Jeffrey?
Yes.
Brubaker?
Here.
Kimmons?
Yes.
Kaiser?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Thank you. Looking at the agenda for this evening, are there any corrections to the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second. There's a motion and a second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Recognition of visitors, Mr. Crane, anyone? Okay. So we'll move on to communication requests, information items. Number 2, presentation by Moberly Firefighters Local 2671.
Mr. Mayor, could I interrupt for a second?
Minutes. I'm sorry. All right, so are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So now we'll go to item number 2.
Turn that on. Tom.
Before we go any further, if anyone does have occasion to address council this evening, please fill out the registration form in the back and present it to the clerk. And then when you come forward, please state your name and address.
I'd like to thank the council for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Mark Fuller. I am a district field service representative for the IAFF 2nd District, the International Association of Firefighters. We are the parent union we're the parent union that works with all of the locals in the United States and Canada. And I'm here tonight to address the number one issue that the local has at this point in time, and that is staffing. This is budget time, and you guys are working with the budget, working with wages, staff studies, and things like that. The number one concern the local has is the high amount of turnover that has been happening over the last 5 years. Since 2017, the department has lost 23 members to other departments. Prior to that, from 2012 to 2017, they only lost 5. So that's a significant increase in the number of firefighters departing this city to go to work for someplace else. One of the problems with that is that when these people are replaced, they're being replaced by people that have no experience in the fire service, that have to be trained, they have to be equipped, they have no knowledge of how this job is done. And the people that the city is losing have that knowledge, and they're going elsewhere. They may be going to Columbia, they may be going to other departments, but those departments are recruiting people that are job ready. They're ready to walk in the door and do what their community asks them to do. This is a huge problem for a lot of things. Number one, there's a lot of costs in training. These people have to be brought up to the state standard of firefighter 1 and 2. In addition to that, then they have to be properly equipped. Turnout gear has to be properly fitted for them so that they can do their work effectively. These are all costs that the city makes, but really doesn't have an adequate opportunity to recoup the benefits of those if people are leaving at a high rate of speed. Currently, the department is 2 members down, and they're expecting to lose 2 more by the end of the year. And replacing those with people that have no experience is causing problems. Looking at the vehicle maintenance, looking at injuries, damage to the vehicles, accidents and things like that. These are all things that happen because people are not adequately trained to do this work. This work is not something that people can just come off the street and do. I'm a retired firefighter paramedic. For me to do my job when I was hired by the city that I worked for, I had a year's worth of training just to become a paramedic. And then I had another 6 months worth of training just to become a firefighter. And that was, that was at good cost. And I served my city for 28 years before I got sick and injured on the job. And so this is obviously a big concern with a department the size of Moberly, 24 people, minus the chief. That is understaffed by national standards, but it's adequate. That's what the city has determined the fire response should be. Your staffing studies and analysis and so forth like that have pointed these things out. Your ISO insurance rating is based on that. This is your decision as to what level of fire protection that you think that the citizens deserve and that the city can pay for. So I'm not going to tell you that that 1710 says thus and so, NFPA 1710, or whatever the case may be, because that's a different discussion that I'm not here for. What I am here to talk about is the fact that a lot of members of the fire department do not have a lot of experience, and they're voting with their feet, with compensation, with benefits, things like that. If they see an opportunity to better themselves, then they're going to go do it. The city can and should, in my opinion, be doing everything that it can to try to keep these people, because that's where the city is going to recoup the investment that it's going to make. When a firefighter leaves, all that knowledge goes with them. All the experience that they've gotten from the fires and that they have ran, the incidents that they have ran, the things like that. When I was on the job, I knew my city was only 4 square miles, a very small city, and I knew most of the people on a first name basis. They knew me, I knew them. We ran into each other from time to time, shopping, whatever the case may be, because I lived close to my community that I actually worked in, and I got to know these people at 5 o'clock in the morning when they're calling because they're sick or whatever the case may be. They had confidence in me to be able to take good care of them when they were having problems, whatever their problem may be, whether it was a house fire, whether it was an illness, whether it was a traffic accident, or whatever the case may be. We had a long-standing experience together because I've been on the department for a long period of time, as had most of the people I work with. When the department flips over on such a rapid basis, that the citizens don't get that kind of, they don't get that level of experience that they should be getting more of each and every year. One of the other issues that has come up is over the years, the overtime rate has gone from 183 hours per year to over 1,600 a year, hours a year. That's a tenfold increase, pretty much, over the cost of overtime. And overtime is directly related to the lack of staffing or staffing issues. When you are running close to minimum or below minimum, if someone calls in sick, whatever the case may be, that's going to be cost to the city. Some of the other issues that are related to this that you may not have considered is part-time work. A lot of the firefighters are putting in 25 hours extra a week. They're working 56 for the city to provide fire protection. And then they're putting in another 20, 25, 30 hours. We'll just call it 25 to be right in the middle. And so that's 77 hours that they are working to try to keep, to try to take care of their families. All of these people that are members of the fire department, they want to be here and they would, many of them would like to stay. There's obviously not everybody would want to stay, but there may be even some people that would come back to the department if, as the wages improve, as benefits improve, as things like that. The one thing I want to close with is to let you know that the goal of the local is to work with the city to try to resolve these problems. We're not trying to come in to beat you guys over the head with them. We understand the financial issues that the city is dealing with. We understand the 8.5% inflation that you guys are dealing with, but these staffing problems didn't happen just because of 2020. They really started in 2017, which is well before the pandemic, well before the inflation. And so these issues have been longstanding. We understand that they're not going to that they're not going to be solved overnight, but we would like to work with the city so that we can, so that these problems can be solved, so that we do reduce the amount of turnover, so we do improve the amount of experience year after year that the fire department has, that the city is getting a good return on the investment it's making hiring firefighters. It would be even outstanding if the fire department was able to start to recruit people that were bringing in that experience instead of just watching it leave to go to someone else's department. I think that's in the best interest of the citizens, is to have a well-trained and experienced fire department. And the members of the local share that response. We all work for the same people. We work for the taxpayers. And we want to provide quality service to the taxpayers. We don't want to see our taxpayers hurt. We don't want to see them injured. We don't want to see them burnt out of their homes or anything of the sort. We want to provide the best quality of service that we can, and improving the staffing, reducing the turnover, ensuring that firefighters can invest themselves in the community so that they come to work here, they stay here, they retire here, I think is in everybody's best interest.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments and statement. Our normal time is about 4 minutes, and we're right at 11, but I thank you for your comments.
I appreciate that. I'm doing actually pretty well. I could have gone on for 30.
I understand. Okay. Moving on, we'll move to public hearing and receipt of bids, and we will open a public hearing for the 2022 proposed property tax rates. So is there anyone here to speak of the stated amount of tax for the next year? It was published. Now's the time and the place if there's going to be any public comment in opposition or in favor, or anyone who would like to speak to the property tax rates being set. Is there anyone from the council has any comments? All right, so hearing none, we will close the hearing, and we'll move on to number 4, receipt of bids for the sidewalk, driveway approach, and curb replacement program.
Okay, so we received one bid this year from Dustin McCormick, DMC. They are who have been doing our work currently. They were in the same price range as they were previous year, so $6.20 a square foot for 4-inch, $7.20 for 6-inch, and $24 a foot for curb and gutter. So staff has recommended proceeding with them.
All right, so everyone has a copy in their minutes of the bid sheets. Any questions in regards to any of those bids? All right, I hear a motion to accept the bids.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bid is received. We'll move on to receipt of bids for 2022 street improvement milling and overlay.
There's a receipt of bids for mill and overlays you mentioned, and we had 3 bidders: Capital, Christensen, and Emery Sapp and Son. Capital was the low bidder at $94.50 a ton for the asphalt laid down, and $105 on the parking, and $265 a square foot for city to retain the millings or for the company to retain the millings. So staff recommends moving with form of capital.
All right. I'd also refer to the bid sheets that you have in your minute packet for this evening. Are there any questions about any of those bids? If not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the bids.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And number 6, receipt of bids for a mower for public utilities.
Yes, Mayor, we received 5 bids, and Lee's Lawn Care was the lowest at $12,100. If there's any additional questions, Dana could try to answer
And
those.
the selection was based on 2 things: price and ability to deliver, given that all of the mowers offered and considered were considered commercial mower quality.
I think I stated it wrong. You wanted to go with the bad boy, didn't you?
Yeah, that
We
was,
do.
At 11.
11.8.
Yeah, 11.8. Sorry.
Questions, anyone? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to accept that bid?
So moved.
I'll
And-
second.
And is seconded by Mr. Kaiser. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bid is received. So we'll move on to the consent agenda part, and you can see 7 through 13 as part of the consent agenda. Is there any one of those items that anyone would request being taken out of the consent agenda? Hearing none, is there any questions about any of the items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to read the consent agenda. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
Bill number R1267, a resolution accepting bids and authorizing contracting for the 2022 Milling and Overlay Street Improvement Project. Bill R1268, a resolution accepting bids and authorizing contracting for sidewalk, driveway approaches, and curb replacement. R1269, a resolution accepting the proposal of Smith and Loveless, Inc. and authorizing the purchase of an OEM pump for the wastewater treatment plant. Bill R1270, a resolution authorizing the purchase of water meters from Schulte Supply, Inc. Bill number R1271, a resolution approving a mowing and hold harmless agreement between the City of Moberly, Missouri and Gary Seidel for mowing the city lake property. Bill R1272, a resolution authorizing and accepting a change order to the agreement with All Clear Plumbing and Sewer. And the last bill, number R1273, a resolution accepting the bid proposal of Lee's Lawn Care and Equipment LLC and authorizing the purchase of a lawnmower for the Utilities Department.
All right, thank you very much. You've heard the reading of the respective resolutions. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The items on the consent agenda are approved. So we'll move on to number 14, an ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have an ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission and asked to be read twice for consideration by title only.
All right, you've heard the motion for the reading. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First reading.
An ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the City of Moberly for property known as the odd-numbered street addresses on Johnson Street between 501 and 525 Johnson Street.
All right, you've heard the reading of the ordinance. Any discussion? Hearing none, second reading.
An ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the City of Moberly, Missouri for property known as the odd-number street addresses on Johnson Street between 501 and 525 Johnson Street.
All right, you've heard the second reading of the ordinance. Any further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Roll call, please.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
Brubaker,
Yes.
Kimmons,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. The ordinance is passed. And we'll move on to number 15, an ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, I have an ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the city of Moberly for property located at 402 North Fifth Street. Ask for it to be read for consideration.
All right, there's a motion for the reading of the ordinance. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First reading.
An ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the city of Moberly, Missouri for property located at 402 North Fifth Street.
Art, you've heard the first reading of the ordinance. Any further discussion? Hearing none, second reading.
An ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the city of Moberly for property located at 402 North Fifth Street.
All right, you've heard the second reading of the ordinance. Any further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Roll call, please.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
Brubaker,
Yes.
Kimmons,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
All right. Motion passes. Ordinance is passed. So we'll move on to number 16, also an ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have an ordinance adopting the recommendations of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the city of Moberly for property located on West End Place, Johnson Street, and Franklin Street. I ask that it be read twice for consideration of passage.
All right, we've heard the motion for the reading of the ordinance. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First reading.
An ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the city of Moberly for property located on West End Place, Johnson Street, and Franklin Street.
All right, you've heard the reading of the ordinance. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, second reading.
An ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the city of Moberly for property located on West End Place, Johnson Street, and Franklin Street.
All right, you've heard the second reading of the ordinance. Any further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Roll call, please.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
Brubaker,
Yes.
Kimmons,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
All right, the motion passes. The ordinance is passed. All right, so we'll move on to number 17, an ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, I have an ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the city of Moberly for property located at 500 Franklin Street and 410 Johnson Street, and ask it to be read twice for consideration of passage.
All right, you've heard the motion for the reading of the ordinance. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First reading.
An ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the city of Moberly for property located at 500 Franklin Street and 401 Johnson Street.
All right, you've heard the first reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, second reading.
An ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the city of Moberly for property located at 500 Franklin Street and 401 Johnson Street.
All right, you've heard the reading, the second reading. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded by Mr. Kimmons. Roll call, please.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
Brubaker,
Yes.
Kimmons,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. Ordinance is passed. And we'll move on to number 18, an ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have an ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the city of Moberly. Asked to be read twice for consideration by title only.
All right, you've heard the motion for the reading of the ordinance. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First reading.
An ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the city of Moberly for property located in the Zahn and Williams, second additions to the City of Moberly.
All right, you've heard the first reading of the ordinance. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, second reading.
An ordinance adopting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the rezoning application of the City of Moberly for property located in the Zahn and Williams, second additions to the City of Moberly.
All right, you've heard the second reading. Any further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Been motion is seconded by Mr. Lucas. Roll call, please.
Jeffrey?
Yes.
Brubaker?
Yes.
Kimmons?
Yes.
Kaiser?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. The ordinance is passed. So we'll move on to 19, a resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I have a resolution appropriating money out of the treasury of the city of Moberly, Missouri in the amount of $599,701.70. Ask for it to be read for consideration.
All right, you've heard the motion for the reading of the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First and only reading.
A resolution appropriating money out of the treasury of the city of Moberly, Missouri in the amount of $599,701.70.
I hereby certify that there is sufficient money standing to the credit of the city of Moberly, Missouri, unappropriated in the several funds covered by this resolution to meet the requirements of this resolution. Submitted, Gregory L. Hodge, City Treasurer, City of Moberly. All right, so you've heard the reading. Is there any further discussion? If not, I entertain a motion for approval
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution passes. So we'll move on to the next part of the meeting, which is official reports, and move to the department head monthly reports. Are there any questions or comments from council about any of the departments that are contained in the department head monthly reports? I guess I got to be the lone question then. I think this would be for Mr. Crane, but I was reading in the part under the economic development about the company that does the retail promoting, retail solutions.
Strategies.
Is that a contract that the city pays the 100% of?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to wait another time till Mr. Bogalski's here for the other part of the question.
Yeah.
But
I'm,
anyway,
I'm pretty confident that that's a contract just with the city.
I mean, I know we pay, but
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was exclusive to the city of Moberly or how.
Yeah, pretty much is. There's some ancillary products that I think we allow some of the member cities and counties that's part of MADC to access, but
Okay,
most of those services are provided strictly to Moberly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll wait till maybe Mr. Bogalski's here to ask him his question. Can wait.
Okay.
Anyone else have a question over any of the other department head reports? Okay. So we'll move on to consideration of approval of renewal liquor applications.
Honorable Mayor and Council, we've received renewal applications from Aldi Incorporated, number 82, break time number 3071, and break time number 3163. Casey's General Store number 1121 and Casey's General Store number 2003. Dollar General number 1181 and Dollar General number 1230. El Vaquero Mexican Restaurant, Express Liquor and Smoke, and Express Liquor and Smoke number 14. And we ask that you approve these applications.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Any questions about the applications? No? Okay. Hearing no questions, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. They're approved. So we'll move on to appointments to the Park Board.
Yes, Mayor, we have 3 openings and 3 applications on file. All those are reappointed requests for Russ Kennison, Don Burton, and Rachel Grimm.
All right. Any questions or comments about any of the applicants? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to accept the 3 applicants?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We thank you for them for stepping forward and volunteering. So that leaves us to the end of the meeting. Is there anything else to come in front of the council this evening? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn to the work session.
So move.
And a second.
Second.
Wait, it's followed by closed, right?
Oh, you have closed?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll reword that. I would entertain a motion to adjourn to work session followed by closed session.
So move.
And a second.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Roll call, please.
Jeffrey?
Yes.
Brubaker?
Yes.
Timmons?
Yes.
Kaiser?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries and we are adjourned. Thank you all for coming. So the regular session is ended. We will take up the agenda for the work session and open the work session. First item on the work session agenda is number 1, application for the Board of Adjustment.
This is a proposed renewal. We have only received one application, and that's from Craig Samp, who's been a long-time member. He's actually beyond what our reckon rules are for term limits, but we don't have any other applicants on it, so.
All right. Questions, anyone? Anyone opposed to moving that forward to the regular meeting? Okay, that'll move forward. Move to number 2, request to update the permit fees associated with building and development in Moberly.
So we haven't, staff's been working quite a while on this along with the building permit process. Our fees are designed to offset our code enforcement fees, and I won't get into a lot of details tonight. If we want to have a work session at a later date, we can do that. But I thought tonight I'm going to hit the highlights and see what your thoughts are. So code office has been working for a while, and they've met with 10 other communities our size within 2,000 of our population. They've also included Columbia and Boone County on top of that, so 12 in total. Maryville was the only community with fees slightly lower than us. And so there's a chart in what you've got, and it shows where we compare on that, and you can see we're very low on that. Building permit fees are currently based on square footage, and other permits have to be acquired in addition to that whenever you're going to get your permits. So we're also looking to move to an all-inclusive for permit fee, which would be when somebody comes in and buys their permit, it's one fee covers building, electrical, everything. It's one shot, and it would be based on building values instead of like on a square footage fee. Other proposals would be, if we change that and we move to those rate increases, that would put us about at mid-pack of those communities you're looking at. So we'd be about in the middle, and also you have to assume that cities like Maryville that was at the bottom was probably looking to move up as well. So we're not looking to go to the top of the charts. We're just kind of looking to get in the middle on that. Some of the things, residential, proposed new construction would be an all-inclusive permit. Residential remodels would be remain the same format. Residential trade permits are recommended to double, and that would put us more in line with similar communities. That's also in the packet that you received there to show those numbers. Commercial new construction recommended to go to the building value data, which is similar to other communities as well. So it'd be, again, not a square footage price. We're currently at 8 cents a square foot. Recommend to go to that value-based permit fee. And commercial remodels and trades would look to double and align with other communities. So that's kind of where we're going. And like I said, Aaron has put together a nice document there to show the spreadsheets. Not looking to make, it's a significant jump, I should say, but we have met with numerous stakeholders, being contractors, landlords, organizations, realtors, on all of these issues on the permit fees and also the building codes. So it's not like we're just trying to spring it on somebody without getting some input and talking about the best format of this. So staff would recommend going forward with these permit fee changes.
All right. Questions about these changes, potential changes? Mr. Kaiser.
If I see that this will go to the council on 6/6, when are you looking for these to take effect if they're approved?
I mean, we could adjust that, but following approval, we'd, try to probably July calendar year or our fiscal year would probably be a good time to do that.
July 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess my question is, you did a lot of work on those comparisons, and the all-inclusive type fee is, are all of those other cities now using that kind of format, or are we going to be?
It's on the chart there. It has a yes or a no, whether they are all inclusive or not. So, I mean, the majority are on commercial, and I think more than half are on residential. Is that accurate?
I would say that the majority of them are on residential, with
Let's see.
none of them on commercial
None of them.
because of the commercial trades and how those are regulated.
Okay.
But
So-
about half to more than half of them are doing residential.
So have you all given any thought to how you want to communicate this to the people that are going to be affected, the contractors? I mean, you're going to have some kind of
As I
open
mentioned,
meeting
we've had-
forum,
we've had
or send them a
numerous meetings.
memo, or what
We've
do you
had
think?
numerous meetings. So we've had 6 meetings with landlords, commercial contractors, and the tradesmen. So Aaron and Rick in the code office have had meetings over at the municipal building, and they've promoted that, advertised it, had
Okay.
donuts and water meetings with them. And so we've had slide presentations on both the permit fees and the building codes.
All right, good, very good. Questions?
Tom, how's that been received? Have they given pushback, or have we been able to take some of their ideas and kind of incorporate them into this as well?
They all had some concerns. Obviously cost is what's going to be a factor.
Sure.
And so more, I would say more in, like I said, really having a work session would be good to have where the code office, because they're the ones that ran those meetings and dealt with them on a face-to-face, so I've got the results of that. We've got a list of things that they had, and so we've incorporated those. For example, more I'd say in the permit or in the building codes where we've changed, and IBC has, this is what we have to do, and we found some concerns and what other communities have done, and we've made recommendations to leave things out of that to keep the cost down. But fees, obviously, they don't want to see it go up, but they understand, and we're comparable with other communities they work in. These guys don't just work in Moberly, so they know we're low.
Right. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone opposed to moving that forward? All right, hearing no opposition, that'll move forward to the next meeting. And we'll move to number 3, request to update the International Building Code series adopted by ordinance.
Again, touching base again, we have had 6 meetings where we have specifically, and also met with the plumbing boards and electrical boards, make sure that they are aware of this. So there's a lot of, these books are massive. So, the code guys have to go to these training sessions and try to keep updated and find out what's changing. We have to know what's going on, so they go to these meetings and learn those things, and so find out from other communities where they are having problems. And so we already know problem areas, but then we also, when we relay that to the tradesmen and contractors, they also relay their concerns and problems. And so there's a lot of little things that weren't really issues, but I'll focus on this today on some of the big things. But our codes haven't been changed since 2013 when we adopted the 2012 codes. As they mentioned earlier, our ISO ratings are based heavily on these, and that's one of the things we keep getting dinged on, is the fact that our codes are at 10 years now. We haven't updated. So we need to stay current with current construction advances. A lot of things like solar loads, aren't really in our older codes. So solar panels are being put more and more on structures, so those kind of loadings and things like that are getting updated in the new codes. Changes we see, and also that we have feedback on from the people when we had the meetings for, on the most impactful. On the commercial, and this is a positive, is the number of occupants that require sprinklers to move up to 200 instead of 100 for residents, or restaurants. And that's like Columbia, so that makes it encouraging for downtowns to not have to struggle when they were revising an old building. They can get 200 people in there before they have to go to sprinklers in a restaurant situation versus 100 now. And that's, Columbia is also doing that. So those are some things we're looking at, say, less exempt in terms of codes. Residential arc fault limiters. This is one of the things that we've had concern with in the past. Is developers are doing houses. They keep having these complaining about the cost, plus the fact that they're tripping out the systems because of the arc fault breakers. The new regulations would require them not just in bedrooms, and they would also add like kitchens and closets to those type of things. And so we're looking to remove those out and exempt those from the code. And we'd also ask to retain our state moratorium on the residential sprinkler side of things. probably another one of the bigger costs would be the new code requires exterior disconnects on all homes. So any new houses would have to do that, or if they're changing out, they would also have to do it. Staff has a recommendation there for a 2-year exemption on existing homes, replacing only the exterior meter. They'd be exempt for 2 years. That kind of just gives them time to not be impacted by that cost. Those are the big items of it.
All right. Questions, anyone? Anyone opposed to moving that forward to the next meeting? All right, that will move forward, and we'll move on to number 4, review of CAP agreement. Mr. Bach.
As you can see from the packet, this is amending the 2020 agreement with conservation. And essentially all it allows for is the additional stocking of trout in Butte Park. So it's a 50-50 cost share. The cost will vary year to year based on the cost of the fish, but also how many to stock it with. So they'll likely start on the light side with about 1,000 or just over in year 1. Gauge if that's enough, and then they'll tick it up from there. But again, whether it'll always be between 1,000 and 2,000 fish. And again, the cost share will be 50-50 for the duration of the agreement, which is a 25-year agreement. And it doesn't require us to do it every year. Based on budget constraints, we can pull back in a future year if we need to.
All right. Mr. Kimmons.
I think that's a great idea. One of the questions I have, did they talk about how our water in midsummer, whatever, gets to a certain temperature and trout are not really inducing to that? Do they have a breed that they're bringing that can withstand that?
So that's why Butte is targeted, because it's deeper, because it's an old quarry.
Okay.
They wouldn't fare as well in Rothwell or Waterworks.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So in the packet, there's a lot of, if I'm seeing that right, is that all connected to this CAP agreement, the plat and the other information, or is that for something?
Yeah. So that was for your benefit. So it's just a 1-page amendment. The rest of it, what's in the packet, is the original agreement from 2020, and that we have to show as appendices all of the deeds for the parks in question. So that's what you're looking at with all those property documents, is the original agreement.
Because I noticed one of them went back to like 1907.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
it just shows the chain of ownership of the property. Is that what it is?
Correct. So that's an appendix in the original agreement, the 2020 agreement. We have to show the acquisition and ownership of all the properties at Butte and Rothwell Park for those 3 lakes.
All right. Okay. Any further questions?
I just think this is a great idea, and I just can't wait to go trout fishing. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready.
All right. Anyone opposed to moving that forward?
I'm not a fisherman. Is it rainbow trout or brown trout?
I'll verify. I believe it is.
What's that?
We'll verify. We're waiting for them to. I'll verify that detail.
Okay.
We'll get that when we get the final count on what they plan to put in it.
Okay.
Anyone opposed to moving that forward? No. All right. That'll move forward to the next meeting, and we'll move on to appointment to the Housing Authority Board.
Yes, Mayor, we received notification from Donna Dunwoody that they do have an applicant for a position that's been open for a while. Howard Glasgow submitted his application, and the Housing Authority is recommending that he be appointed to this position for a 4-year term.
All right. Questions, anyone? Anyone opposed to moving that name forward? All right. Hearing none, that will move forward to the next meeting. And is there anything else coming in front of council for the work session? All right. Hearing none, then I'd ask for a motion to adjourn to the work session.
So
or
move.
to the closed session, I'm sorry.
So move.
And second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all for coming. We're adjourned.